Welcome back to Sports Medicine on Tap. My name is Brandon O'Lyon. I'm sitting at Neck of the Woods Brewing Company with my good friend Dr. Frey. Dr. Frey, how are you?
Spectacular.
This is one of my, I think it's become one of my annual favorite shows.
It's fun. It's just fun.
It's like our big fantasy football preview. We have an extremely long list tonight to go through.
It could be like a 4-hour show, so we got to cut it down.
We're going to try to not go deep in the weeds tonight and kind of cover a lot of ground here. But before we go deep and diving into all the fantasy football injuries, we want to give a quick shout out to Virtual Orthopedics and Spine. They have you covered from runner's knee to dog walker's hip to yard work back and laptop wrist. They have a doc for that. So find the right specialist for you at virtua.org/ortho. So Dr. Frey, we are in the midst of late August. I was about to say October.
Yeah.
And we're just shy of 8 days away, I think, from opening football.
It's fantasy football draft central.
Yeah, it's time. I think this weekend's going to be a large and heavy weekend for a lot of fantasy football drafters.
Yeah. Even this week leading up to it.
Oh, yeah. I've had one already, so it's that time.
Yeah, for sure. Today was cut down day, so we're recording on a Wednesday.
Right. Different day.
Very unusual.
Yeah, very rare.
Yeah.
Wednesday night recording. And like you said, all the final cuts are coming out. You know, all these 53-man rosters are coming, and then all these players are making these decisions. Well, some of them are starting on IR, missing their first 4 weeks. Some are getting suspended last second, and all these things are happening.
That's right. Some are getting suspended.
And so many fantasy football implications. Like I mentioned, I did a draft the other night, and it was perfect. I wanted to at least do one before tonight, just to kind of see all the names on the ticker again. You know, see who we got going. I was like, oh man, we have so much to talk about.
Yeah, exactly, and it spirals, right? Like the one injury has a cascade on like the value of 3 other guys.
Yeah. It's not just one person is out with XYZ injury. It's like, well, now that person behind him is much more valuable.
And now his quarterback is, more valuable or less valuable.
Exactly.
So there's the cascade effect.
So
the ripple effect.
I think we're just going to dive right in. We have a long list, like I mentioned. We're just going to kind of chip it away at it and kind of not get too deep in the weeds.
Sure.
But I think, we can start with the Miami Dolphins and their running back room, and Devon Achane heavily reported over this training camp of having this calf injury.
Yeah.
He's been in. I just feel like I've been seeing updates and things about him. He got injured sometime in August of this month, early in training camp, and it was just reported at first as a soft tissue injury.
Right.
And it was kind of left as like that blanket in terms of soft tissue, and everyone was like, well, what's going on? And then it got leaked, or someone just ended up coming out saying it was a calf strain.
Right.
And that's just, big red flag.
Yeah.
And just those calf strains early in camp are just like one of those things. He's like, I don't know about that.
On the thoroughbreds, right? Like for these
those
guys that are super fast.
Yeah.
And they just seem to linger.
Yeah.
They
linger, and they have these ongoing calf issues. And then I feel like these ongoing calf issues is then down the line, it's
the next injury.
Like the next injury would be Achilles injury, whether it been a rupture, or hopefully not a rupture, or just not this year, but maybe next year, some Achilles tendonitis, like a very similar situation like Christian McCaffrey last year.
Right. But those implications are big now, right? Like so it's the Dolphins to me are a team when healthy,
unstoppable,
very scary,
very
right?
scary.
But it's like a collection of like it's like an IR.
Yeah.
Like whoever can get back, get out there.
Yeah.
And then so Tua, right, like could be so good, but like injury, it's a hand injury.
Unfortunately, one hard hit on Tua might derail the whole season for the Dolphins.
Right, and then and you have Tyreek Hill, right? Missed last year, not a great year. So the big question mark there. Was his down year a byproduct of wrist injury, never quite got going, or the off the field issues? Not, I don't want to say issues, but just like kind of craziness, right? Like the whole thing with the, him showing up to practice and whatever. All right, we'll put it behind us. But so like a little bit of a down year for him, but he's a speedster too.
Oh yeah,
right.
Super fast,
and he's 30, 31. So like, was his down year, and he's still pretty good. Right, but it was his down year a byproduct of. He's 30, 31, and speedsters, that's when they
kind of die off a little bit, slow down, yep.
Or is it the injuries? And like this year, he's going to be back.
And his success is very much dependent on Tua's availability. Last year, he went out for a decent amount of weeks.
And then even when he came back, it was like just, rushed.
Yeah. And, with Tyreek Hill now, he's had an on and off training camp. He's been dealing with this oblique injury.
Right.
And for those guys who are super fast and make quick cuts, that oblique can definitely be problematic. And then, as I mentioned before we started recording, too, of like, I don't know.
What does that mean?
What does that really mean, like oblique? Like, yes, would hope it's truly an oblique injury, or is there like some kind of core muscle involvement, and we're talking more of like a old school sports hernia, athletic pubalgia type deal?
Yeah.
Then that makes it more interesting because that's a nagging injury and could take a lot of production out of him for sure.
Yeah, if it's an oblique, presumably it is. Again, the disclaimer, right? We don't have access to the medical records or the actual charts for these individuals. We're just going based off the information that's been made public, and we're just talking about possibilities. If it is truly an oblique injury, it's annoying, it's nagging, 4 or 6 weeks, something or other. You play through it. Sometimes it gets reaggravated, but I think you'd still do just fine.
Yeah.
But I gotta tell you, I get a little. I took Tua last year as my quarterback, and it was a little bit of. I was like, man, what a wide receiving core! Like this guy's gonna be great.
Right.
Waddle's like I got bit by the injury bug, just like everybody. Yeah,
I think Waddle got a little banged up this year in training camp too, in the joint practices. I think he banged up his knee a little bit.
Here we go.
Their whole
Jonnu Smith is in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, so like their whole main receiving core has a little something going on, and then you go with we're talking about we started this conversation with Achane, right? Or
Achane,
and then the running back room's also very tight on the injury.
Yeah,
they had Alexander Madison, who did decent in the years past. He had a little bit with the Vikings, and then I think last year he was with the Raiders.
Yeah,
but he unfortunately took a weird fall, essentially landed right on his head.
Yeah,
and ended up getting season-ending neck surgery in training camp.
I wish the best for you.
Right.
Yeah.
And early report says he's going to make a comeback. He should be ready for next year. So we'll see how that turns out. But that just trims the herd a little bit. And you have only Achane, you had Madison.
Yeah.
And now Jalen Wright.
Mostert's in Las Vegas right now.
Yeah.
I think, right. Yeah.
Yeah. So
then, is it Vegas or the Browns? I think it's Vegas. I'm pretty sure he's in Vegas.
I think he's in Vegas.
So then you're right. So then they're like. So everyone, I think, is looking to the rookie. Ollie Gordon was drafted, who's a good player. Mm-hmm. I feel like everybody's forgetting Jalen Wright.
Yeah,
who actually was really good. Another speedster, a high draft pick. I think second round last year.
Something like that.
I could be wrong, but I think it was a fairly high draft pick last year. Another speedster.
Right.
And I feel like we talk about the cascade effect, right? Like, if you take Achane, I butcher it every time, right?
Oh, 100%.
If you take him, like, do you need 2 handcuffs? Because number one, he's somewhat of an injury risk himself. He's great when he plays. He's already got the injury, and there are 2 potentially really good running backs behind him.
Yeah,
he's not my first pick. I'll say that.
Yeah,
there's just too many variables right there. I think for the most part, try to steer away from Miami. Granted, you can get some nice finds if they're there later.
If they
steals,
hit,
But I don't know that I go to those guys.
Right.
I took Achane pretty early last year.
Oh yeah.
And again, he was good when he played, but I got a little bit burned at times as well.
And it's an unfortunate thing that you see like these guys who are such high caliber athletes who just unfortunately get hit with the injury bug and they just can't break away from it.
Yeah. We talked. We've talked about it 100 times. Is there really some people are more prone to injury, or is it just bad luck? And I really think that's just the way some people are built. There's some intrinsic effects, the way people handle, hits, the way people roll with it, the way they see it, the peripheral vision. Who knows what it is? But some people are just a little more prone to injury, and I feel like we got a lot of prone injury bugs right here.
For sure.
Yeah.
And then we're just going to go right down this list and a little hometown information here for the Eagles. A.J. Brown has been out most of training camp with a hamstring injury, but I believe he was reported to kind of be back in practice, kind of doing things, and everything's supposed to be set up and ready for week 1 start.
Yeah.
But I get nervous with hamstrings early on in the season because if you don't take care of it early on, and you let it kind of get 85, 90% better, that 10% window is
tweaks it again,
or you put it at risk for something else, or the other side, or something, something else happens. It's just like you never want to see it. And A.J. Brown is in the conversation along with Justin Jefferson, another big name with a hamstring who we talked about last time.
Yeah, and one of the top receiver.
Marquee, absolutely.
Not quite Jefferson level, Jamar Chase, but a high level receiver.
Exactly, he's arguably number 1 receiver on the Eagles, especially with him and Devontae Smith. What a great
he's still
duo.
Probably number 1 though.
Yeah.
I got to tell you though, I think for him, he's not a rookie. He's not young. He's a veteran. He's been around for a few years now. He was in Tennessee for a while, and he's been on the Eagles for a little while. Guys like that, sometimes I think they do a little, even if it's like a mild tweak, and they're sit out the preseason.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. We don't want to risk it.
Yeah.
My gut here on him is that we hate these injuries. They're nagging. They recur.
Yeah.
He's also not super speed, right? He's not Devontae Smith.
Yeah. He's bigger, like
bigger,
big body,
stronger,
stronger. Yeah.
And my gut is that, like, I hate to get it wrong, but like safe pick. You know,
Yeah.
if you want him to go get him.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that too, and I think also with that is one that veteran approach or being real conservative.
Right.
Also with those teams that make it deep in the playoffs, Eagles obviously won the Super Bowl. They just played. They had the least amount of time off.
That's true.
So yes, give him a little extra time. He's catching up with everybody. I believe he's a professional athlete. He's training his butt off still.
Right.
But should he be ready for, like you said, I think he's good to go. Green light it, draft him.
And he's viewed as a pro's pro. People really like him.
Yeah.
He kind of does the right thing and reads his book on the sideline.
Made that offer so much money.
Yeah, I know. Well done.
Well done. So to go into another hamstring, Justin Jefferson, not only does it affect him, right? We've mentioned him.
This is an interesting
Yeah,
one.
this one is one of those ripple effects cascading out into the wide receiver room for the Vikings. Obviously you don't want to see Justin Jefferson have this lingering injury. Luckily, it's happened late July. He's going to have at least 4 weeks off to figure it out and rehab, get everything going, ramp up accordingly. But then that spins into next man up, right?
Right.
Number 2 guy is Jordan Addison on the depth chart.
Suspended
3 games.
It's only 3 games.
Only 3.
So I think he's available in most drafts late because they see that S next to him, and everyone's like, "Well, I don't want that."
Right.
It's only 3 games.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why not?
Yeah.
Then you have Jalen Naylor, who's 3rd on the depth chart, arguably can move up again. Also banged up with a hand injury.
Of course.
And receivers need their hands, pretty obviously, right?
Yeah.
But the Vikings are trying to adjust, and they brought back Adam Thielen from the Panthers today.
Yeah.
So he's back in town, back to his hometown, trying to figure this out. So he might be late, untouched value.
Quick steal at the
end.
Possibly like the last round of the draft.
Yeah, you could get him with probably like no one I don't think has really taken Adam Thielen in many drafts.
Not
at
very
all.
high.
Not very high, at least not like in years past.
Yeah.
So another quick, easy snag that you could get maybe like as your last pick if you're not saving your kickers and defense for last. Like might be a skill guy that you could just throw in there for some at least an early pop. Like it could work out early on in the season when all these guys are banged up and not available.
If he can do it, and he might be too old. He's not a young guy. He might be too old. But if he can do it, he'll establish his place again.
Yeah.
And like he was so good in Minnesota for so long. Yeah.
He even did well last year late in the season.
Oh, did he?
For the Panthers. He's not making great record-breaking numbers, but he did pretty well, caught some touchdowns. And then you also can argue that a veteran status like him could help out J.J. McCarthy.
Also coming back from injury.
Quote, unquote, coming back from injury like we talked last time with the meniscus.
Yeah.
But essentially he's a rookie going into this year. Like he didn't play much, if at all, last year. So he's got to get all
He looked very good at the very beginning until he got hurt. I'll say
Right.
that. And if that receiving core is able to get back up to full strength, like what a receiving core, right? Like so, there's a lot of optimism there.
Yeah,
he's a runner. You don't love someone coming back off an injury as a runner,
correct.
But this is one of the ones where like he should be good by now. Like they give him plenty of time. It was early in the season. They repaired it. Like he should be good by now.
Yeah.
In that vein, though, again, right? Like their running back is Aaron Jones, right?
Older.
Also, somewhat an injury waiting to happen.
Yeah.
I feel like it's gone under the radar. His backup is Jordan Mason, who's a pretty good running back.
Yeah, who did really well when Christian McCaffrey was out.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
And it was paid and brought in for this specific role. I feel like that's another late round grab that can actually change.
A great handcuff.
Not even handcuff. That's how you screw the guy that took who didn't handcuff, like
right,
the guy
exactly.
who took Aaron Jones and didn't take the other, and like that. Those are some of the picks. Sometimes like week 3, all of a sudden now you're dominating. Because he comes in and lights it up.
Like you said, Aaron Jones is older. Yes, they paid him pretty well. I think he got like a 2-year extension in the offseason, so he's he's kind of like in line to be the number 1 guy. But last year he was banged up a lot. I had him. It was like. He was my number 1 running back, and it was all over the place because sometimes he was available, and it was just,
And I hate to say this, I kind of feel like he's even before the injury, he's not quite the same running back he was in Green Bay.
100%, yeah.
So I don't think it's going to take very much to unseat him, and so I think Mason is a really, really good. First, if you take Jones, you got to handcuff him, and if you don't take him, he's a pretty decent like mid to late round snag that could pay huge dividends later.
Yeah, exactly. To go back on to now spark a new conversation, if you will, for another running back who we've mentioned a few times, Najee Harris with the LA Chargers.
What in the heck?
we don't know what's going on still. I mean, he's been activated and healthy now.
Yeah.
And I think there's plans for him to start week 1.
Yeah.
But if he doesn't, and this eye injury is something more than it seems just not that all the reports made it seem very simple, nothing crazy.
Sure.
But he hasn't done much in camp, and he hasn't
I've been on the cusp. I have a friend, Kristen Hammersmith is her name. She's a corneal specialist. She's awesome. She's brilliant. She's amazing. And I've been on the cusp of trying to get her on to talk about this a couple times. But each time I think about doing it, I'm like, he'll probably be back real soon.
Yeah.
At this point, if he's not back by opening day, we got to get her on. What could be going on?
What could be
here?
happening?
It doesn't make any sense.
Over
at all.
2 months with a quote unquote superficial eye injury that just hasn't gotten any better.
Now, what I've heard is that he is actually going to be back for opening day.
Yeah.
Now, Omarion Hampton, the rookie backup running back that they've taken, apparently looks great.
Yeah.
And so all of a sudden, this is not an older player, but a veteran player.
Yeah, 100%.
Who's on a new team. A veteran player who's been good but not great.
Great, yeah.
Hasn't practiced yet. I don't think it's going to take too much for Omarion Hampton to unseat him. Nigel, you got to get back in there, otherwise you're going to be looking for a new job.
Yeah, and I mean, even when he was with the Steelers, I think Jaylen Warren was pushing the envelope and trying to
almost unseated him. And actually, last year I feel like Harris had a good season.
No,
he really did.
I agree.
Hold him off. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think he's 3-4 years in, Najee Harris. I
Something
think
like
rookie
that.
year was he's got a lot of potential. I think sophomore year was he slowed down.
Yeah.
And then I think it's kind of been a little bit of a rocky road. So I think at least Omarion Hampton, that's a easy snag if you want to try to hopefully
on a offense with a head coach that's running back friendly.
Yeah.
And I could that's the pick, right?
Yeah.
Omarion Hampton's the pick.
And then you have a decent receiving core with Lad McConkey over there who's going
so good.
I know.
They
And then
got Keenan Allen back.
Keenan Allen's back home, and
I'm not a believer at this point, but we'll see.
No, I think Keenan Allen's a old faithful pick late in the draft. He's like,
that's
let's
exactly
just pick him
what
up.
he is.
Just in case if one of these young guys slow down, he's still going to probably catch touchdowns and could do a couple things.
And he's comfortable and he's familiar.
He's comfortable. He's caught plenty of passes from Justin Herbert in the past, so I don't think that's going to be a problem for them. So to move on here, we have Jaden Reed from the Green Bay Packers. He has a foot sprain. Happened early on in camp in August here, and he's been seen in a walking boot, but I think he's been kind of getting back into practice a little bit. He hasn't really played much in the preseason at all. But another guy who's super talented, super fast, but always banged up.
Right.
A guy, and I don't know what it is with the Packers, but they just seem to find receivers who are so good on paper, but just don't have the durability to last very long.
Yeah, I get it.
Christian Watson,
sure.
Romeo Dobbs, all these guys, great flashes of,
they look like they're going to be
so
really good, but then they're not.
Then they just don't do that.
Is Matthew Golden going to be the same sort of flash in the pan?
Right.
Or he's not a huge guy, but he's fast.
Or did they figure it out, and these are guys who has a little more durability and last a little bit longer.
And what do we expect out of Jordan Love bouncing back this year?
But he's also injured too. To also go, I think he has a thumb injury.
Yeah.
I think it is on a throwing hand. So just adds it up a little bit to make it more interesting.
Yeah.
So hopefully
I did take not Jordan Love. I'm sorry. I did take Matthew Golden fairly late in my draft last night. I was surprised that he was still there, to be honest with you. And he is quite a flyer, and especially if a guy like Jaden Reed is a little bit banged up, that just opens the door for someone like him. There are a few teams that I've kind of stayed out. I tried to just stay out of the mix as much as I can. And honestly, Miami was one of them.
Yeah.
Because there's so many variables.
Yeah.
Which also creates steal opportunities. And I feel like the Green Bay wide receiver core is exactly that.
Yeah.
It's just, I don't know. I feel like it's a little bit of a...
It's hard to, I actually have Jaden Reed in a dynasty league that I'm in, and it's so hard to start him.
Right.
It's last year, I'm pretty sure he started the season, had a 35-point game, and then didn't touch double digits for 6 weeks. And it's what are you doing
Those
here?
guys are maddening.
It drives you nuts.
I feel like that's Calvin Ridley's career, right? Monster game, 4 points. Monster game, 4 points. You never know which one you're going to get.
And even the likes of Tyler Lockett in the latter years of his career,
right?
Who's on a new team with the Titans, so who knows how that's going to go.
Oh, I didn't realize that's where you're going.
With Calvin Ridley.
Yeah, interesting.
So it's very interesting how
Cam Ward.
Yeah. But, I think the veteran receiver helps a rookie young quarterback.
Well said.
Because they know the spots to be. The quarterback just has to hit him in the right spot, and those guys can finish the play.
That's a team that has, I think, more potential than most people are thinking about right now.
With the Titans?
Yeah.
Well, while we're talking about the Titans, I think we kind of took talked about these guys off
On a fly,
off
yeah.
on a fly. Yeah. So Tony Pollard's their starting running back.
Yeah.
Tajay Spears was their backup, and now he's on the IR with
I don't
with an
even
ankle
know
injury.
who. I think it was more like running back by committee.
Yeah.
To be honest with
Yeah.
you, going into this.
Mm-hmm.
And
Now Tony Pollard's looking to be the number one guy.
Yeah.
And his backup is a gentleman named Julius Chestnut.
who?
Exactly. So if you're getting Tony Pollard and you want to handcuff someone late, Julius Chestnut might be your guy.
Yeah. Or if you need a hot dog eating contest. But no. So yeah, no, I agree with this 100%. And I feel like he's one of those guys that could be a game changer. Like because I don't think anyone's targeting Tony Pollard at this particular point.
Right.
But there was a couple of injuries along the way. There were times when like he was extremely explosive in Dallas, and you're like, this guy is going to be really good.
And that's what got him the money he got in
Tennessee.
Yeah,
Right,
exactly.
right. And now all of a sudden, Taiji, who's never been great and is banged up again, if nobody's targeting Pollard, if he's still available, kind of ninth round, like that's huge dividend payoff. And he's also was it an ankle injury a couple years ago, and then kind of tweaked it again last year.
He kind of had on and off injuries, I think, last year with like the ankle going on and off the injury report there. So it's like his durability is definitely questionable, especially later in his career, right? These running backs,
I'm mixed on it.
they don't last that long.
They don't, right? And then so there's two ways to look at this, and I don't know how this one's going to shake out. The first one is he injured the ankle 2 years ago, had a couple like hiccup little injuries last year, but they could be like just sort of residuals. And now he's 2 years removed from the big injury, and now he's going to be Tony Pollard again. Yeah. And then there's the other way to look at it, like sometimes you're never really the same after that injury.
I'm almost certain that his original ankle injury required tightrope surgery, so the high ankle. So he's had like
usually
surgery.
Do okay.
Yeah, but again, I think there's something to be said of like, I like the second year after the big surgery.
That's right. This is it.
And this could be it for him. This might be the year that he's finally bounced back. He feels healthy. He has enough time to train under his belt, and he can get out there, get healthy.
You're not taking him in the first round.
Yeah.
But if he's available late,
Correct.
he could be a draft changer.
Yeah. So another one to talk about is Isiah Likely from the Ravens, who went down with a fractured foot. Likely, I don't know for sure, is a Jones fracture, base of the fifth, required surgery. So the tight end room with Isiah Likely and Mark Andrews the last few years has been maddening for some people.
Yeah. Two
Likely
really good
does
players
really
that are
good.
injured.
Mark Andrews did almost nothing for the most part of last year. Cost them their playoff loss, I believe. He dropped the pass.
Dropped the ball. That's the bad taste that everybody remembers. But he was lighting it up.
Yeah.
Near the end of the season.
Yes.
Before that drop.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like then everyone's looking for Isiah Likely to be the guy, and he did well, but now he's hurt and he's out for a little while. So
I think Andrew. He's another right.
Yeah.
There's a few really good tight ends out there, right? There are, right? Everyone wants Bowers. Everyone wants
Sam Laporta,
McBride. Actually, Trey
Yeah,
McBride.
Trey McBride's very high.
Right?
Yes,
And then Laporte he's good, of course. I did go back the way of Kelsey yet again.
Yeah.
Who's still out there, but and there's a couple good rookies, which we'll get into at least one of the two of the good rookies when we talk about Indianapolis. But I feel like Andrews, he's been one of the best tight ends in the league for a while. Now he's nearing the end of his career.
Yeah,
his only issue is he's been injury prone.
Yeah,
likely gets hurt. Think about their receivers, right? Zay Flowers is a good receiver, right?
I think they have Bateman still.
That Bateman, he's made of glass. Like and last year actually he was decent. He played most of the year and actually finally started to deliver.
Right.
But
and they also have DeAndre Hopkins, which is crazy.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, exactly.
Holy cow!
Right, and so
good point.
What does he do to that receiving core? I don't know. He's another guy who's just way late in his career. He's not the D-Hop of late, of being greatness before. So
if Andrews is healthy, though, which apparently he is at this particular point, the only thing that may have been potentially hurting him is the fact that Isiah Likely is good when he's healthy, and he's not healthy right now.
And then also with that too is that with Mark Andrews had a fracture in his leg from the hip drop tackle from I forget the date, but same idea, right? Like he had that. I think he may have came back last year or the year before. But now he's at least a year out of it, right?
Right.
So same idea. That year after the surgery, you have a whole year under your belt to train and kind of feel back to your normal self. It could be an uptick year. I don't know.
So the example I'll give to try to solidify your point or drive your point home, right, Someone has an ACL tear.
Mm-hmm.
They come back the following season. When they come back, there's still a pretty dramatic difference between the injured quad and the other quad.
Oh, yeah.
It's usually 2 years for the quads to be symmetric.
Yeah.
And I'm sure people have heard it over and over again. It takes 2 years to come back from that's your point. Right? Like he's 2 years removed from the surgery, from the big injury. At this point, now the only question is he too old at this point?
Right.
I don't know. He looked really good at the end of the season until he dropped that one pass. So I don't know if he's
Right.
too old. So I feel like he's one of those like high ceiling, high dividend picks that you can get a little bit
Very
later,
late.
right? Just 2 or 3, maybe 4 tight ends that are like really good. And then if you don't get any of those guys, typically you like just take one of the guys that's left at the end.
Then you just
But if you
draft
can get-
or
if-
pick
if-
up the waiver wire the rest of the way. Right.
But if Mark Andrews could be your guy near the end, then just like you may be getting top 1, 2, 3, 4
Top
tight
5
end.
guy. Easy. Without any
Without
attention.
the investment. Yeah.
100%. You can get him super late, and hopefully it could work out for you.
You're right.
To go down our list here, we have Joe Mixon, running back from the Houston Texans, who had an interesting news report today regarding him, at least. So a little backstory. He got injured with an ankle and foot injury back in July. He's been out, and he hasn't done much of camp. And, he's definitely out for the first 4 games of the season. And then today I saw an article come out, an ESPN notification that the GM for the Texans was non-committal on saying that he would even play this season, which is like, holy cow, what?
What just happened?
And as someone who has him in a dynasty league, you're like, wow, there goes my running back room, right? Like, whew.
Yeah. Who? I got Dameon Pierce, right?
Yeah, Dameon Pierce. Or then you go, who else is in their running back room, right? You have Nick Chubb, who's also older.
Yeah.
Has been banged
Big
up
injuries.
plenty of times.
I think the early reports is that he doesn't look great at this
Yeah.
point. Sadly, like and all accounts, like a wonderful human being.
Yeah.
Even though he played for the Browns, what a wonderful human being.
Right.
Yeah, and just an
Has
incredible.
come back from 2 major knee injuries.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
still being able to be productive in the NFL is a very hard feat to do.
So-
and he's done it.
Presumably, and I don't know this, but like presumably, like he's not going to be the guy at this point.
Right.
Mixon is out. Hey man, time to get Dameon Pierce. Who they took a rookie.
They took
this
a
year.
rookie, Woody Marks from USC. So that's, I don't know, man. You want to take a deep stretch and try to take a reach on somebody.
That's a little bit of a reach.
a little bit of a reach, but
Maybe a handcuff.
I mean, when you have an open running back room like this, right? You have
Right.
Nick Chubb, an old veteran who's injury prone, been banged up, is definitely in the fourth quarter of his career, if
Yes.
you will. You have Dare Agunable. I don't know how to say his name.
Yeah,
I don't want to.
who's pretty good. Yeah,
also pretty good.
He's like he's a ground rule double man.
Yeah.
He's always pretty
Yeah.
decent.
Yeah.
Yeah, powerful.
But between those guys, I mean, you could strike gold if you get one of them who ends up kind of shining a little
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
And if you want to roll the dice and you want to, I don't know, late, super late, Woody Marks might be a guy that's
Maybe he's a steal.
steal, and he could get some time early on, and who knows if he's a good pass catcher, and he could get some PPR points.
I don't
So,
know enough about him, but I
I
just
don't.
know like
But when you have, like you said, these running back rooms, wide receiver rooms, if you will, if there's all these banged up guys, someone's going to have to step up and shine.
he's in the background. Like
He's like, whoa.
I got a shot.
Yeah, and then if you're talking Joe Mixon, who's like supposed to be the guy, he's not going to be here all season potentially.
Right. That changes everything.
Yeah, and if you want to take a risk and throw Joe Mixon on your IR and just hope for the best, you could do that too.
It's a slick move. Yeah. I don't know. I feel like in football that IR gets filled up quickly though, and you might be
so
waiting
fast.
a while for Mixon.
Much
If the GM was non-committal about him playing this year,
at all.
yeah, I wish we knew more about the injury.
Yeah,
and we could talk about it, but we don't know anything
But
yet.
with that being said, too, it makes so much sense of why there's not that much reporting about it, because it could be that they're actually fearful that this is going to be a big issue, and they don't want to show
I
their
got to
hands
tell you,
early.
if he's out for the season, is he out for his career? Like, is this?
Yeah.
Because he's
he's older.
Too, is not young.
Yeah, he's not. He's another one, fourth quarter of his career as well.
Right. And that's a good team. Receiving
Oh.
core is very good. Nico Collins, I like. For the love of God, and Stroud, like it's a good team.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Tank Dell, who's
Tank Dell,
I mean,
right.
he's likely out though all this year.
Oh.
He had a major multi-ligament knee injury late in the season last year. So
Yeah. So he's probably done.
Likely done this season as well. So we'll see what I mean, like you said, CJ Stroud.
It was a pretty good team. No, I'm joking. No.
No, but again, I think a good team with a good defensive coach who I
Yeah.
think a defense might shine a little bit this year as well.
For sure.
And they also have another crazy injury that we talked about. C.J. Gardner-Johnson's on the Texans this year. got hurt, almost ACL tear, but not ACL tear.
Yeah, very weird.
Very weird reporting on that one. So, if he's active and playing, then yeah, I mean, they could definitely be a little scary.
Yeah. I hope that wasn't like it's a partial tear. We'll pretend it's not torn.
Yeah.
And
then it'll go eventually, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of ACL tears, it'll lead us into Brandon Aiyuk, who I think we talked about our preview fantasy football talk, coming back from a torn ACL, MCL. And that's another wide receiving room who has Juwan Jennings, who's dealing with a calf injury.
Unreal.
But we have Ricky Pearsall, who's
my favorite pick in the draft.
I think big upside with this guy.
Everybody seems to have forgotten about this guy.
Yeah.
He gets shot once, and then he
came back, and he did pretty well. And now he has, again, someone else who's hopefully, presumably not getting shot again, and he can actually, be healthy, had a good offseason train.
He came back last year after the gunshot, which was like, what a situation, man. If I remember, he was walking in San Francisco, he got held up, and then he got shot.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe, thank God, and fortunate for him that it wasn't the scenario wasn't worse. Pretty amazing he was able to come back.
Yeah, 100%.
Mid-season, and when he did come back, he was still pretty good.
Yeah.
I think people forget. I think it was the end of the first round draft last year.
Yeah.
Might have been
first round draft pick.
Yeah, one of the best players on that team.
Mm-hmm.
If you didn't, and now all of a sudden, Debo's
gone. Yeah,
in Washington, right? We're talking about Brandon Aiyuk right now, injury wise. Jennings also banged up
with a calf.
Crazy like off season stuff, and Brock Purdy hopefully coming back healthy, and Christian McCaffrey coming back stud. Right? But like I feel like Pearsall like sky high.
Yeah.
Potential.
And then you have George
Kittle
Kittle
sitting there waiting all the time.
George Kittle's also good, but also an older tight end, but definitely slowing down. He's not the George Kittle of old.
Right.
And then it's also interesting, right? So the Niners also traded for Brian Robinson Jr. from the Commanders.
Right.
Real crazy. He also has been shot before. So I don't know if
it's
a precursor to be on the 49ers. You have to get shot or not. But so he's presumably the backup to Christian McCaffrey, who's...
I don't think it's an indictment of McCaffrey.
No.
Although we don't like that he gets injured a lot.
It's a good insurance plan, though.
That's exactly what it is. And I actually think that's an endorsement for Ja'Cory Merritt.
Yes.
Bill, as they call him.
No, and I think
it's a ringing endorsement for him, that they will like, get this guy out of here. We got the guy we need.
Yeah. So I think that's another name to like late. Don't pick
Ja'Cory Merritt. That was
Don't pick Brian Robinson thinking it's Bijan Robinson early on in your draft. Pick him very, very late if you want to handcuff somebody who does have McCaffrey and you have a decent backup who was arguably a starter in Washington.
Right.
But something to be said, like you said, for the rookie, Austin Eckler, and even
Ja'Cory Merritt.
And McNichols or Jeremy McNichols or whatever his name is, the other running back there. Another running back by committee, I think, situation, and one of them probably will shine.
Yeah.
Don't know who, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and I think most people look at that backfield and say, "Oh, it's going to be Eckler."
Yeah.
I don't think that's the guy.
No, I think even of late, Eckler's been fumbling a lot more. He had two pretty decent concussions last year too. It's like, and that's another like a little bit of a red flag,
right?
Especially when you're in the later end of your career too.
Speaking of wrong guy drafts, right? Like. Don't draft Trevor Etienne thinking you're getting Travis Etienne.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like
exactly.
That's the wrong guy.
Yeah. Another person to talk about here is Chris Godwin from the Buccaneers, coming back from a ankle dislocation late or week 7 of last year in October 2024, who is on the active list now. He made the 53-man roster. Most reports that he could be available for week 1, but it seems like likely he's probably going to start the season a little late.
Yeah.
And then with that, you have Baker Mayfield returning, who's doing really well there. You have Mike Evans, who's, just a walking 1,000-yard season kind of guy.
Right. And really played well last year, too.
Yeah, and it's crazy. My brother's a Buccaneers fan, so I know all the ridiculous, non-important Buccaneer stats from him or whatever, and he just always talks about how good Mike Evans always is, and he is really good.
Yeah, he's traditionally has been an all-or-nothing guy.
Yeah.
50 points, 3 points. But last year, I think actually was a little more
steady.
Consistent. Yeah.
And I think the Bucs really gave Baker Mayfield an opportunity to shine. He's doing really well down
Credit
there.
to him, man.
What a journey guy to make it back, right?
And he's like, he grabbed his opportunity and ran with it.
And it's also crazy that he's just, took the team that Tom Brady was on for a couple years and took it and kind of ran with it.
What was shocking, right?
Shocking, and him to be the guy that filled those shoes of Tom Brady and doing decent still.
And a team that has a lot of optimism for this year. So their rookie wide receiver,
Mm-hmm.
right, Emeka Ibuka, I think is probably one of the hottest draft picks in fantasy football at this particular point. Just likely going to light it up, especially given that they have Mike Evans. Excuse me, Godwin's coming back, but he is coming back from injury.
Right.
He'll probably be good, but we don't know.
But between the three of them,
really, really good offense. And then the two running backs, right, Rashid White and
Bucky Irving.
Bucky Irving, who was like the big surprise last year, right? A lot of potential right there in that team.
Yeah, for sure. To go off to kind of more bounce back people who got banged up pretty good last year. Hometown hero, if you will, Isiah Pacheco had an awful year last year statistically, but also missed about, I think it was like 8 to 11 games. I forget the exact number.
He's still a stud because he's Jersey native.
Oh yeah, Had a fractured fibula. Had definitely down production last year. You would hope that you can get another person you can get maybe late if you want to take the gamble of dealing with a Kansas City Chiefs running back, which is always a tricky draw.
Because you just don't know how often they're going to get the ball.
Right.
But it seemed like last year, what was it, 2 years ago now? I hate to say, I forget. Where finally Andy Reid was starting to get the hint.
And I think it was about 2 years, and that's when kind of Pacheco kind of peaked, did really well, and he was higher in the draft last year. Then he got hurt and he's dropping down. Then they brought back Kareem Hunt.
Yeah. Who's also good.
Also really good, who lit it up last year. And it was funny. I don't know what the stats were, but when I did my draft, I looked at his numbers from last year, and it's like he wasn't even on a team for a full season. He did decent.
I know.
Yeah. And that might be somebody who's going to be your goal line touchdown vulture, if you will, who's going to take a lot of the touchdowns away from Pacheco. But
Pacheco was a fibula fracture, right?
Yeah.
So those are like injuries like that, he should be 100%.
Yeah.
And at 100%, he's better than Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
And at 100%, he's a good running back.
Yeah,
so he's one of the guys
runner.
For people are starting to let him fall under the radar a little bit, but you should not have a huge reservation about taking that guy.
Yeah. So it's funny. I'll say this about Pacheco. I'm pretty sure I saw a video meme, if you will, of him taking a run from a preseason game. He runs so hard.
I love it.
He's one of the guys that you could tell how much effort he puts in while he's running, right?
Yeah.
And he was running, he kind of fell out of bounds, and he fell into a trash can. And the meme was Isiah Pacheco ran into Dak Prescott on the sideline.
Oh.
And it was arguably funny as an Eagles fan, really funny, and a Pacheco fan because he's from my hometown as well.
Right.
But just seeing him in that video, the videos, this guy's just running hard. He's going so hard, he just flies off the sideline into a trash can. The kid works really hard, you know. And I think it's worth drafting him this year if he's available.
That's how they grow him.
And to talk about Dak Prescott, someone who ended his season a little early last year with a hamstring surgery, who we talked about. I think it was episode 120 or something like that.
Yeah.
We talked about him in November. He's looking to have a bounce back year. And I mean, the Cowboys always have aspirations to have a bounce back year, and this is their year. But yes, receiving core that's, CeeDee Lamb, George Pickens.
Holy cow.
They got opportunities. But I think what's really questionable is their running back room.
Whoa.
A bunch of
little bit grotesque.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to take a roll of dice on a Dallas Cowboy running back this year, again.
Rico Dowdle is still there.
Yeah, I think they have, is it Javonte Williams?
I think
believe
so. Who actually is a pretty good running back. Who knows? That guy may step. And then they have a rookie also.
Yeah. And I think Javonte Williams is one of those guys, too, who I think tore his ACL early in his career, maybe his rookie year, and then was back with Denver for that first year post, and then now he's in that year 2-3 where
maybe this is where he gets it back.
Where he gets it back, and then I think with a receiving core like with CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens, it gives the opportunity for the running game to shine a little bit.
Everybody has to drop back a little bit.
And that's also the same idea for, like we mentioned before, Aaron Jones in Minnesota.
Right.
All those great receivers around him.
Yeah.
That defense should be a little softer. You might be able to run a little bit better.
That's true.
So
that's a very good point.
They have good upside when you have so much talent around the ball.
Man, that is a scary receiving core.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Pickens is kind of a crazy guy. But he is a talent. And by all reports right now in Dallas, he's been a model citizen and playing great.
Yeah.
And so
that's what you want to see from him, right?
I know.
So we'll see what happens with that one. And I would imagine that Dak Prescott has a pretty good year health-wise. I don't think this hamstring is going to be a problem.
I don't think so either. I feel like proximal hamstring tear, which winds up requiring surgery, you can bounce back from. It has a couple of little nuisances, like in terms of post-operatively.
Yeah.
Sometimes people have numbness in the back of their leg. Sometimes it hurts to sit on like a hard surface.
Yeah.
But really, once that heals, like a year in, whatever, 8 months in, 9 months in, and once it heals, like he should be really in pretty good shape. Like he should be able to do the things he needs to do. The only knock is the fact that he is somewhat of a running quarterback, and
his mobility might take a little bit of a hit.
Maybe a little bit. But honestly, I would expect him to have a good year. I expect him to have a really good year, to be honest. And I feel like he's going later in drafts than maybe he should be, part because of the injury. But like, given that what that offense looks like right now, and I don't know if they got the Micah Parsons situation settled, but like, if all of a sudden the defense is not on the field as long as you wanted them to be, like, or sorry, if the defense isn't keeping the score down the way you want them to be, they may be looking to Dak to like run it up in order to keep up.
And I think it's interesting because I think Dak had that similar situation last year where like I'm pretty sure that like we did our whole draft last year for one of my main leagues and he wasn't even drafted. He wasn't touched.
Really?
Yeah. And we're like, wait a minute, Dak. No one even picked him up. Nothing.
Coming off an injury this year, I would not let that guy go undrafted.
Yeah, I think he's a good backup if you have someone better, one of the top tier guys. Yeah, right. I think it would be worth a pick if you needed somebody as well. So
because I know I'm gonna get laughed at here. I could foresee him being like top 6, 7 kind of scoring quarterback if he can stay healthy and
with the right weapons, right? Like he has people around him to do it now, right? Exactly. He has better receivers to throw to with. I don't know. He can high point some balls. George Pickens jumps up there like crazy and makes something happen. It could change the trajectory of his points outlook for the season.
And that's probably not the popular view on it, but that's just my
and especially here. No, not many people like the Cowboys, nor do I. I generally stay away from drafting Cowboys and anybody in the NFC East for the most part.
Right.
But there's a chance they could do pretty well.
Yeah.
To go down our list a little bit more here, I have somebody that's like very questionable. Chris Olave from the New Orleans Saints.
Yeah.
2 big concussions last year. Went out and finished his season basically at week 9.
Right.
Because he had not back to back.
That worries me.
But that's like he was a guy who got drafted pretty high last year.
Yeah.
Did not produce at all.
Yeah.
He's very much like Tua. Like he could shine, but when those guys who are super athletic, who fly around the field, jump really high, do all these crazy things, all that speed and all that, it comes crashing down really hard. And then you get someone who just unfortunately takes a really strong hit to you.
Yeah. And I'm and that team right now, like they're a little bit, wayward.
And I think
the quarterback situation is not great.
Rattlers are their starting quarterback and just announced. So like very questionable of what they're going to do. But also someone interesting to talk about the Saints is like Alvin Kamara. In the draft I've done so far, he was super late. Super late.
So he's a guy that if you can get him late, is again like he's Alvin Kamara. Like he can really turn your draft around.
And then someone else to talk about the Saints too is Rashid Shaheed, who's their speedster, who went out with a meniscus injury pretty early in the season last year. I believe he had a meniscus repair because it was an extended period of time, and I think he missed. I think whenever he got hurt, he missed the rest of the season with his meniscus injury.
Yeah.
And I think he's done pretty well this in the preseason. So if he and Rattler can figure it out and just get, because he just
maybe something decent,
could be something decent, a little late pick there as well. And then it's kind of crazy. We're cruising through our list here.
I love it.
We're doing fantastic. So we kind of talked about people who've been injured, who've had injuries. So now the last one on the list here is Josh Downs from the Colts, who's both, right? He had last year, I think his first year he shined a little bit. He did pretty well, had some flashes of doing really well. And I think I picked him up off the waiver, I think his first year when he came out, and did really well. But last year he had a high ankle sprain and a shoulder injury, banged up, and they had the problems with the quarterback, right? They had Joe Flacco in, they had Anthony Richardson in. Josh Downs benefited from Joe Flacco. He got the ball more from Joe Flacco. When Anthony Richardson was in, Michael Pittman Jr. got the ball more. Now they named Daniel Jones their starting quarterback for the year.
Good news for those receivers.
Yeah. So with that being said, Michael Pittman, the best ability is availability. He was available for pretty much all of last season.
Best ability is availability.
Did pretty well, but with Josh Downs now, having a banged up year, and now he's currently dealing with a hamstring injury, another speedster type of guy.
Right.
He could have a good year.
Yeah. I worry.
Yeah.
Speedster, hamstring, second injury, coming off the ankle.
Yeah.
But I do like Michael Pittman in this situation.
Yeah.
Very, very much.
Exactly.
Yeah. And then also Tyler Warren, right? Like the rookie tight end that he drafted. I like him very, very much. And Jonathan Taylor coming back.
Yeah, and I think that's somebody else who was banged up, and I think he finally gets a good year under himself to kind of figure out all his training and get all that. Another New Jersey native.
Like him very, very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think he's another guy who's going a little later than usual, but could also be
value.
Jonathan Taylor of like a couple years ago and be very valuable.
Yeah, possibly. It's not a knock on Anthony Richardson, who is a talent, right? But I don't think he's a kind of pure quarterback, so to speak.
Yeah.
Daniel Jones is more of that pure quarterback, and not a spectacular quarterback.
No.
But I think he does enhance the value of the wide receivers and probably every other player on that team.
And I think it's something to say that, like, similar situation who we talked about earlier, like the veteran players going to different teams, new environment, they could change things up, like similar breath as Saquon Barkley.
Right. Oh my gosh.
And just he was on the team with Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones gets a new outlook on life. I think he went last year. He finished the year with the Vikings, I believe, as a backup.
Yeah.
And then he got signed to the Colts, and he won the starting job over their highly drafted rookie.
Right.
Or whatever, So I think it's kind of his time to show him, kind of shut the haters up, if
value.
you will.
Yeah,
I'm valuable. I can do
good.
something.
Yeah.
So I think even Daniel Jones as a backup quarterback for your team might be an option.
Right.
If you want to roll the dice and just say, if there's no one available, if you're in a deep, big, like, I don't know, 12-team league or whatever the case is,
right,
and you're searching for a starter or a starting quarterback as a backup, he might be a good option if he can do decent. He has mobility. He's known as a runner as well.
Sure.
So he can get to some things done with his legs.
I think that's also the best news around for Tyler Warren, right? Because Daniel Jones will take advantage of his tight ends.
Yep.
And this is a really good, highly touted tight end coming onto the team, and especially if Downs is struggling a little bit, it's a good argument.
I couldn't tell you who their other receivers are, or who else was on the team, but
me neither.
These other guys like Jonathan Taylor and, like we mentioned, could also benefit from that.
For sure.
We crushed it.
I know.
I think we purposely went through really
I
fast.
hope people had a pen. I hope they were taking information out. There's a lot of good information.
There's a lot of things in here. With the recent news of Zach Wheeler being out for the season with a diagnosis with a blood clot in his upper extremity, then having thoracic outlet syndrome and having some surgeries.
The Prater,
pageant shoulder. Or Schroeder syndrome.
Schrader.
With the recent news of Zach Wheeler being out for the season with a diagnosis with a blood clot in his upper extremity, then having thoracic outlet syndrome and having some surgeries.
The Prater,
pageant shoulder. Or Schroeder syndrome.
Schrader.
We've had this discussion with Dr. Webner when we talked about Victor Wembanyama from the NBA and Damian Lillard with blood clots. So I think a good opportunity just to kind of plug our own shows, like go back and listen to that one, because we covered all this stuff before.
And it's right on. It's exactly. And I hate it because Zach Wheeler is a really good pitcher, and even though I'm a Mets fan, and he came up with the Mets, but regardless, like that guy was good. And you hate to see take that turn in that direction. Done for the year. Sent out I think a tweet or a message basically to the fans like looking forward to coming back and having a great year next year. I gotta say, I always worry.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I always worry.
Once you start getting surgical and having these like vascular
especially thoracic outlet.
like that just can cause a lot of injury issues, especially now again. Not to go super deep in the weeds here, right? Like Victor Wembanyama, a little bit different animal, a beast, if you will, than a baseball pitcher. He needs that arm to do everything. That's his moneymaker.
Right.
And now it's been compromised, if you will.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Not small surgery either.
Yeah.
I think it changes things a little bit. It just changes your mechanics. It changes, and maybe he comes back and maybe he's close to what he was before, and that could be
good enough.
Exactly. But I worry for that guy.
Yeah, 100%. So I think we covered a bunch of different things. We had a long list, and we went deep off the weeds with different various players on all these different teams. So I hope you folks got something helpful, and hopefully we helped you or maybe gave you some insight for your upcoming drafts.
Helped you just win it.
Yeah, hopefully if you did win it, give us a like or a comment on one of our socials, and we'd appreciate a little bit of appreciation on that. So before we go ahead and close out our tab, we just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors here, Virtual Orthopedics and Spine. They have you covered from runner's knee to dog walker's hip. Guess what? They have a doc for that. Yard work, back, and laptop wrist, they also have a doc for that too. And Virtual Orthopedics and Spine has over 120 providers, over 20 PT and rehab facilities, and more than 25 surgical centers all across South Jersey. So find the right specialist for you at virtual.org/ortho. Neck of the Woods Brewing Company, giving us the coldest beer and the tastiest sours in South Jersey. And lastly, Timber Production, helping us get all this media out to you folks. We appreciate it. We wish you all the best of luck in your fantasy football seasons. And if we steered you wrong, we apologize in advance. Have a good one, folks, and we'll see you next time.